And it was the last song we played in that meeting, and it was a guitar vocal, and it was hard to hear through, in my opinion. And then so a couple of women in the A&R department, they were like, y'all really need to try that. Y'all need to go in and you need to try it. If not, we wouldn't be here.
Smooth Country.
Lady A, welcome to Smooth Country.
Thank you.
Happy to be here in person finally.
I was going to say, because we've done a number of Zooms now over the last couple of years, and there's nothing like the actual experience. As good as that technology, and it did help us out, didn't it? Do you remember we were going through all that stuff?
Of course.
Yes.
And I have to say as well, one of those occasions when we were all just chit-chatting away, and I think a couple of you had moved your laptops or phones around so we could have a little look of your houses back.
Yes.
And I remember that. I remember a palm tree somewhere. I remember a swimming pool.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the UK with the snow and everything else.
Honestly, though, I was telling our crew outside. I was like, "This is what I want when I come to London.
Yeah.
Give me London. Give me the rain. Give me some snow. Give me the cold. I love it."
When we had a beautiful night last night, kind of like walking around, it wasn't rainy. I saw blue sky and a beautiful sunset. I mean, we're getting it all.
Oh, yeah, you get everything here within one day.
Yeah.
But can I just say, though, Charles, as well, it's all well and good you saying that. You want the contrast. we live here and we get that a lot. So could I also say I'd quite like the palm trees and the sunshine.
Sure.
But no, we do get good weather here, but it's obviously this time of the year. And there you go. But I'm delighted you're all here.
Thank you.
Getting ready for Country to Country. You've done it a number of times now. So is there a particular drawback for this festival, or because, you headlined before, and this is your third time, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of reasons we're here. I mean, the fans are absolutely incredible. I mean, when people ask us what's your favorite place to tour, I mean, honestly, London is at the top of the list, and this festival is just laid out so well. It brings so many great Nashville artists over, and as long as they keep calling us, I mean, this is a big call. I mean, we're very grateful to be over here and thankful that they wanted us back.
Well, I remember, again, from a previous chat, you were saying that, you were really keen to tour again and get back here.
Yes.
And let's be honest, some bands say that, but they don't mean it. But you guys are generally putting your money where your mouth is. You're back again.
Thank you.
Which clearly. And do you when you're playing here, obviously it's a completely different setup to back home. As artists, do you get a different vibe or a love from the audience, or is there a...
Absolutely. I mean, I think one of the things we walked away from our first time over and our first show here was just the full albums being, listened to by the audience and by the fans. It was incredible to see so many people singing along to so many songs that aren't necessarily being played on the radio.
Yes.
And for us, when we make a full-length album, they're all our babies. And so to be over here and be able to curate a set list that's a little bit more of a deep dive into what we do is a real privilege. It's really fun, and it's creatively invigorating for us to be able to bring those songs to life live, because a lot of them we don't get the chance to.
Yeah.
I call it like a mutual appreciation society when we come over here. It's like both sides. I feel like the fans are so appreciative we made the trip. And then we're so appreciative of, like, I don't know, just how far our music has reached. It's and just like Hillary and Dave were saying, I mean, they're listening to the entire albums, top to bottom.
Yeah.
And I do feel like, at times, sometimes in the States, that's lost a little bit. It's very much about the single. Yeah. And, when you make a record, you want it to be listened to top to bottom. So
that must be so frustrating sometimes from an artist's point of view. Let's say you release a new album, and you, like you say, you love all the tracks on there, and maybe in some markets only one or two songs are getting the notice. Do you ever think, well, no, this one's even better, you should do that one?
We have a list of the ones that got away. We're like, we should just go from every album. We're 9 albums in, and it's like there's 2 or 3 that from every album I'm like, that would make one great record if you could pull the best 2 that never saw, but I think that's a natural evolution too. As a group, people, they kind of discover you, they dig really deep into those first few records, and then it's kind of like, okay, well, they got a single here and there that I love, but especially some of our last few records, super proud of them from top to bottom, that, we would love people to kind of discover and rediscover and listen to it fresh, but yeah, and we're, in fact, literally right before we walked in here, we're talking about a group of songs that we're about to go in and start working on. And we're always chasing the music. I mean, that's where it's always been for us, is putting the music first, and try to hopefully make another album that we're proud of.
I'm really interested because I was going to ask you. It's an obvious question. I've got you in front of me here. So have you got a date for the recording studio or the recording session? Really?
We just found out in the lobby, actually, when our producer.
Just now?
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So this is breaking
This is
news.
breaking.
The specific date. We do the general area. But, but yeah, I mean, I think it's, and it's always about narrowing down, because we've been writing a ton, over this time off. And, I think that to me is where, the best time spent is gathering the songs and really narrowing those down to what really speaks to you. And I think, it just gets us excited always.
Well, the fans are going to love that as well, aren't they? Because now they know there's more new material on the way. Absolutely. Can I ask you, and it may differ, from the three different answers, but what's your favourite bit of it all? Is it the getting together, putting the album together, writing the songs? Is it performing?
I was going to say the least favorite bit, I can go ahead and tell you, Dave and I would be probably photo shoots.
All right.
There's just so much waiting around, and you're just like, oh, I'm just ready to go.
Well, can I just say, we may ask you just for a couple of little pictures after this.
But
it's
I'm talking like full day photo shoots.
No, absolutely.
No.
Yeah.
Probably the creative.
It depends though. It's different seasons. I mean, because then you kind of get out of the studio and you're like,
I know.
All right, I'm ready to get in front of the fans again, and then towards the end of every tour, you're like, all right, I'm ready for break, and then you're like, all right, I'm ready to make music again. I mean, but I don't know.
I think that it's kind of all of the above. I mean, the feeling we're going to have on the stage at the O2 is the greatest feeling in the world.
Yes.
To have people singing your songs back. But stepping in and out of the studio and the writing, I mean, we're texting each other all the time. I got this idea. What about this song? And what if we added this guitar? That creative part, I mean, that's what kind of fuels the day-to-day, but that feeling on the stage is unreal.
There's something fun in the uncertainty of going into the studio, like the anticipation of oh my gosh, could this one be the next big song? That I always get really excited about. And then you get done, and then I always then have that natural element of fear. I'm like, do we have the one? And so, I think that's part of the fun of it all, is those ups and downs that you kind of you can talk yourself in and out of, if you have the right song or not. But, now with touring, there's such a level of comfort on stage that's just pure excitement.
One of the vibes I got off you guys when I spoke to you before is, and I genuinely mean this, it's more like a family feel. Does that make sense? That you're so, you say you text each other all the time. You're always on top of each other in your own personal lives. I've seen videos on social where the whole families get together and, the kids and all that. I mean, it really is an extended thing. It's more than a band, isn't it?
It is. I mean, this will be the 17th year we will have been a band, and every big adult life moment any of us have ever experienced has been alongside one another, and so I think with that and just creatively being so attuned to one another, and just the touring, the travel, all of it, there's no one else in my life who gets this like they do. And so I think you're just bonded, and so it is a family, and we're a family, and then also our band and our crew. It's it truly is. It's a special thing.
We live all the ups and downs together.
Do you know,
better or worse?
In the back of my mind, I was thinking, because obviously families, it's not always 100% happy days. So because you go back so far and you're so embedded with each other's lives now, do you, and I'm not looking for, to rake anything up, but do you have those moments where you go, almost like a brother-sister thing where, she's driving me mad, or he's driving. Do you have that too?
It's a family.
Yeah.
I mean, like anybody at Thanksgiving, you have a couple debates, right? But I mean, at the end of the day, there's just so much respect, I feel like, in this band. I mean, we've had it from day one. The friendship is there, but it's on a foundation of respect for what each other brings to the group and what, everyone's talented with. So I think that's carried us for this long. I mean, not a lot of bands make it this long. I mean, a lot of my favorite bands didn't make it, past 7 to 10 years. So we're thankful to be here at the 17-year mark.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
When it comes to like a whole new project, like you've just said, is on the cards. How do you ever kind of not disagree, but how do you work out what songs work best? Or if let's say two of you think that's the winner, but one says I'm not feeling it. How do you get over that?
I mean, it kind of naturally works itself out. I mean, I think if someone has a really strong opinion against a song, then that's one thing. But like if it's kind of like, I don't know, I'm not quite sold, and then two of us really believe in it strongly, then at least you'll work it out. Like you'll kind of get with acoustic guitar. It always shows itself though. I mean, there's been maybe a couple instances where we've had to be like fight for a song, but I don't know. We have a similar, in a weird way, as dissimilar as we are as people. We have a very similar vision when we hear a song that we can kind of hear ourselves on. Especially, I think with, we write probably, I'd say 70% of our music, and there's such great songwriters in Nashville that will get sent a song, and, one recently got sent my way that I really believed in, and but we still haven't worked it out as a band yet, so it may or may not work. And but I love that the three of us have always been really open to if someone's really passionate about it, because there's definitely some songs out there that, I might have been like, yeah, that's kind of on my list, and then it ends up being like our first single. I mean, you just never really know.
Do you as artists know when you're going into the studio again that like this particular song out of all of them is a winner this time? Or is it so random even after 17 years you can't predict?
You can't.
You can't.
We think we think.
I mean, and a perfect example of that is Need You Now, because we went in to have our label meeting where we listened to the piles of songs that we were considering that we had written that had been pitched to us, and thankfully Charles would leave no stone left unturned, and it was the last song we played in that meeting, and it was a guitar vocal, and it was hard to hear through, in my opinion. And so a couple of women in the A&R department, they were like, y'all really need to try that. Y'all need to go in and you need to try it. It was Melissa and Allison over when they were at Capitol, and man, if not, we wouldn't be here. I mean, we chased it down, and it transformed into something we never could have dreamed of once we got into the
remember the song that we were the most stoked about, as the kids would say, is Our Kind of Love, which ended up being a single, but I would not say it was a career-defining single by any means. But I remember us writing that song. We were like, this is it. This is our first single. This is going to be massive. This is going to be a career changer. And then they were like, no, I think that's this one. And
but that's part of the fun, though. I think
that's part of the fun.
It's part of the excitement of, we go into the studio with a dozen songs, right? And surely there's a few that are going to kind of raise their hand. And that's the exciting unknown part of what we do, the creative part of what's going to really resonate. What are we going to love after we record it and then listen to it 100 times in the car? What are we going to still love is what we always try to figure out. It's the quest of creativity, right?
But I'm just knocked out by that. The fact that you guys didn't recognize the fact that, Need You Now could be the one.
Right.
And it's yours. Do you know what I mean? That just kind of enforces what we were saying. You just never know.
You don't.
Well, and sometimes we're as creatives, Charles, just so close to it.
Yeah.
We're right here, so close to it. And so that's why you need a team. That's why you need sound, really, music ears with objectivity who can see us from a lens that we can't see us.
Yeah.
Especially when you write, if you come into a project, you've written, 40 to 50 songs. I mean, your head just starts getting boggled down. And which every songwriter and artist says, you always love the newest thing you wrote.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you have to step away and go, oh yeah, how about this song I wrote a year ago? And that's why songwriters love to write with an artist right before they're going in the studio, because we all have that, you love your newest kid the most.
Although you're not supposed to admit it.
Well, I only have one kid, so I can say I love my
There you go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But it's a fun process, but it's all fun. I mean, it all has its moments of, a little bit. Sometimes if I'm in the studio too much, I get a little bit of that kind of you're in this dark room all day and you're singing vocal after vocal and you're like, oh, I'm over this. But and same thing on the road. Sometimes they can have that moment, but it all has its really fun and unique parts of the journey. And for us, I think we've just now, after 16, 17 years, we're starting to really kind of appreciate the ups and downs are kind of what's really looking back, not in the moment. But
yes,
they're part of the fun of a journey, and I think they make you the band that you're going to be. I mean, I think a band that maybe just has this full upswing trajectory runs into a lot of obstacles because they don't know how to deal with disappointment, and bands that So I think for us to have had a nice little ebb and flow throughout our career has kind of in a weird way set us up for longevity.
Well, listen, it's been an absolute pleasure. I'm delighted we finally got to be in the same room.
Yeah, totally.
Thank you.
I hope it's brilliant again for you guys.
Thank you.
Thank
Happy
you.
to be here. Thanks.
Absolute pleasure.
Smooth country.